Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about the Fuji 35mm f2. This is an amazing little lens, and you can obviously tell that I'm very excited every time I'm talking about Fuji. It's because I really love all the Fuji products, and I'm really happy with them, and I use this lens specifically on my Xpro1, my Fuji Xpro1. And if you haven't seen my review of my Fuji Xpro1, click here and it will show you the video. So anyway, let's talk about this lens and how amazing it is and why I love it so much. So first things, look how small it is, okay? Like, it's tiny. This lens, like if I compare it with my Sony Zeiss 50, you see that? That's a crazy difference. Like, look at the size, it's ridiculous, okay? So let's talk about image quality #1, okay? Because I think when you're buying lenses, obviously you're looking at image quality #1. So this lens is incredibly sharp. And I'm gonna show a lot of photo examples throughout the video, so stick around to see them. Even though it's so tiny, the image quality is unbelievable from this little lens. It's super sharp, okay, especially at 5.6. If you stop it down a little bit, it's so sharp. At f2, it's a little bit like loses sharpness on the corners and a little bit in the center. So it's not, obviously it's not as sharp as my Zeiss 50, but look at the difference, right? So if you stop it down just even 2.8, it's incredibly sharp. And if you because Fuji sensors don't have AA filters on them, the images look really sharp. So even though like it loses a little bit of sharpness on the sides, on the corners, it doesn't really matter because the Fuji sensor is so good that everything looks incredibly sharp either way. But if you stop it down at 5.6 or at 4, it's like super sharp from corner to corner. Like, it's incredible. You can use it for landscapes. But I actually use this for like day-to-day photography, like every day. Like, it's like my everyday carry with my Xpro1. And so the reason I got it was because my Sony is a bit too heavy to carry around with me everywhere I go. Sometimes I want a really, compact camera which doesn't weigh a lot, which is why I bought this lens with the Fuji Xpro1. And by the way, here's the Xpro1. And if I put this lens on the Xpro1, you can see how small it is. See that? It's tiny. It weighs like nothing. Even if I just put it next to the Zeiss 50, the lens is as big as the camera body with the Fuji lens, right? And the weight, I even feel the Zeiss 50 is heavier than this whole combo, the camera with the lens. This is heavier. So, which is why I got this compact camera, so I can use it everywhere I go. But the thing is, when you're buying compact cameras, you still want to have good quality. And the Xpro1, or even if you buy the newer ones, the Xpro2, Xpro3, XT3, XT4, whatever, the sensors are so good that when you pair them with these small primes, they're unbelievable. Another thing about this lens, which by the way, you don't see at these price points, is that this is all metal. The lens is all metal. It has an aperture ring on it, which is also all metal, okay? And the only thing I actually changed on this lens was I didn't like the hood. It came with a hood, a plastic hood, which I didn't really notice any difference when I was using the hood or not, so I just took it off and I bought another hood. I bought this metal hood from Amazon. So when I put this on, you can see it's a little bit longer, but this hood actually protects from like direct sunlight, whereas the hood that it came with, it wasn't really making a difference. So I bought a better hood for it, and it's perfect. The lens is 170 grams, like it weighs absolutely nothing. Another great thing is that this lens is completely weather sealed, so you can use it in the rain, which is crazy. I mean, for this price point, and I think this was 400 euro on Amazon. I mean, at the time that I'm doing this video, I think it's 400 euro on Amazon, which is crazy. 400 euro for an all metal build with weather sealing. I haven't heard that before. My Xpro1 obviously isn't weather sealed, but if you get an Xpro2 or higher, they're all weather sealed. So, you know, it's a very capable compact camera system that you can use it anywhere, like for street photography, for landscapes, for portraits. And you know, the reason I got a 35 is because I'm a big 50 shooter. If you watch my other videos, I love the 50mm focal length. So 35 on a crop sensor, it's equivalent to, I think, 53 on full frame. So it's incredible. Such a compact camera with a compact lens like that with such image quality, it's unbelievable. Okay, next let's talk about focusing. Please keep in mind I'm using the Xpro1, which is a very old camera, so it doesn't have the fastest focusing. But from what I saw from other reviews, people who are using this lens on modern Fuji cameras, the focusing is very fast. And even on the Xpro1, the focusing actually is really good. I mean, the Xpro1 is old, so it's a bit slow, but it's very accurate. The focusing is very accurate. And yeah, it focuses really fast. So I was thinking about the 35-1.4 to replace this because I really like Bokeh. So, but the reason I didn't get it was because it's not weather sealed, and I like shooting in rain a lot. And also, it's an older lens with apparently much worse autofocus. I haven't used it, so I can't tell you guys, but everywhere I read, they were saying that the autofocus is much slower. Now, I don't know how that plays on newer bodies, but especially on the Xpro1, I wouldn't want an even slower autofocusing lens. The other thing which is really good about this lens is the bokeh. So the autofocus areas. Even though it's an f2 lens, I found the bokeh is very pleasing. Now, obviously, it doesn't give you a shallow depth of field like a full frame 50-1.4. Like this will give you crazy shallow depth of field. This won't give you that. But to me, when I look at bokeh, I look at it in two ways, okay? I don't care, like, yes, I do care, like, sometimes I do want a lot of out of focus background, but the most important thing for me is the out of focus area adding to the image or is it distracting from the image, okay? So the good thing about this lens is that the out of focus area is not distracting, it's very smooth, and it looks really good. So even though it cannot give you the creamy, you know, bokeh of a full frame 50-1.4, it still looks really good. And especially if you get close up to people, like if you shoot someone, a portrait of someone, you know, at a 1.5 meters or 2 meters, and there's quite a lot of, you know, distance between your subject and the background, you can get amazing out of focus areas. So yeah, it's incredible. Now, the one thing that I cannot tell you for sure is how it performs in low light, because unfortunately my old Xpro1 cannot shoot in the dark, unlike modern cameras. So I can't use it at night. I tried a couple of times at it maxes out at 6400 ISO, the Xpro1, but even at f2 6400 ISO and a shutter speed of, I think, 30th of a second, I could barely see in the dark. So I can't give you my thoughts on that. But I would say, you know, if you shoot a lot of low light, maybe the 35-1.4 would be better by Fuji. So yeah, I don't know about that. But other than that, this lens is really good. The photos that I took with the Xpro1 with this lens are some of my favorite photos I've ever taken. And the image quality is incredible. It's weather sealed. I mean, for 400 euro, I don't think you can ask for anything more. It's really, really good. So anyway, just a quick video on the 35 f2 by Fuji. If you're a big 50 shooter, I highly recommend this lens, and you can pair it up, you know, with modern cameras. You don't have to get an Xpro1, but if you would like to get an Xpro1, or if you're curious about the Xpro1, or if you want to get into Fuji and you don't have a lot of money and you want to buy something, I highly recommend getting an Xpro1, and I highly recommend watching my review of the Xpro1 so you can actually see what the camera can do. Anyway guys, that was it for today. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos, and I will see you guys on the next time.